Hello and welcome to the Snivy Pad, your home for all Pokemon content. My name's Mike, and today we're going to be looking at Brilliant Stars, the newest expansion released for Pokemon. This will not be our November set, unfortunately. That will be Fusion Strike with all the new Fusion Pokemon, as it suggests in the name. But this will be instead releasing in February of 2022. It will be the first of 4 sets based around the Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl little video games. It's almost going to be like a mini block in the middle of Sword and Shield. Basically, you have these 12 set blocks. You had Sun and Moon, X and Y, Black and White, Sword and Shield, and so on down the road. But you also have these mini sets. And mini sets it's a flexible term because there are the mini sets like the McDonald's sets, Detective Pikachu. But there's also the side sets and stuff. This is pretty much just a side set from the original Pokemon stuff, from the Sword and Shield stuff. It's going to be more focusing on the video games than the actual Sword and Shield cards. So it's a bit of a touchy subject. No one really knows what to call it. Pokemon themselves don't even call it anything special. So you can just use whatever words you like for it. So this set is going to be, as it suggests in the name, including V-Stars, the newest feature that we have heard about from Pokemon themselves. We have a little trailer for them even, which will be linked in the description because I can't use it for some reason because it's copyrighted. Who knew that Pokemon would copyright their own video? Anyways, we have Arceus V-Star, Charizard V-Star, Shaman V-Star, Whimsicott V-Star, and many, many, many others. These can be an attack, they can be an ability, they can be even one of them has this really weird one. We haven't seen an official picture yet, but we have seen leaks of it that it's going to have like some weird retreat costs where instead of paying your retreat costs, you get energies back when you retreat. It is crazy, and it's going to be a meta breaker at that. At best, it's going to be a meta breaker. It's going to be insane. Like, you're just going to retreat. Imagine, you retreat. Instead of getting rid of 3 energies, you're just pulling 3 energies out of your discard pile, attach them to your Pokemon. Like, who has ever even thought of that? Like, I don't even know where Pokemon gets these ideas at this point. It's getting ridiculous. So, another really cool feature of the set is they're almost bringing back the character arts from Cosmic Eclipse in the Sun and Moon era, which was actually, fun fact, about 3 or 4 years ago now. It was insane how long it is and how much the time has flied from the Sun and Moon era, because we are at the tail end of the Sword and Shield era at this point. So these are a bit of an example of what they will look like. It is literally just going to be a Pokemon card with a character on it, like someone from the anime. There's going to be the ones we know confirmed. We have the Combuskin with May. We have the Dusknoir with, this is a new character, it seems. No one really knows his name. And then obviously we have the Pikachu with Ash or Red or whatever you want to call him. In Japanese, they'll call him like Shinadi or something. It's a very strange pronunciation in Japanese, but I digress. So, Pokemon Brilliant Stars, the brand new expansion, love that name. It is a really amazing name. I don't know why. It's weird because it is almost like a mix of everything. The background looks like the Hidden Fates or Shining Fates logo, but at the same time, it has that writing from the Sun and Moon era. It is just a really, really beautiful artwork and everything. So, we will include 20 V cards, 15 full art V cards, 4 V-Stars, 3 V-Maxes, and 22 trainer cards, including 6 full art trainer cards and 1 new special energy card. It will contain 172 sets before Secret Rares, and that's going to bump it up to around 225, 230, give or take a little bit. It will obviously be released on February the 25th, as most of the February sets are released. It's weird they have like a 1 or 2 day time frame every year. They try and release it. I'm like, can't even talk today. They try and release it on the same day pretty much every year, just so it's consistent. Everyone knows when it is. Obviously, during COVID and stuff, that changed. They had to bump everything back a month. But now we are getting back into the swing of things, the normal groove of when the set should be coming out. So we have the pack wrappers and actually everything already, the ETBs, the special collections, everything, which is very surprising because usually we do not get that until later on. So for the pack arts, we're going to have a Whimsicott pack arts, a Arceus, a Charizard, which I'm already telling you that's going to be the most expensive one, and a Shaman. They're all they're average pack arts. They almost look like the Champion's Path ones. It's kind of a strange idea to put that border on there, even though that isn't the Sword and Shield border. But I mean, I guess they do want to switch some things up. We also have the Elite Trainer box. There's going to be 2 different Elite Trainer boxes, just like last time. There's going to be this one on screen here. For just the regular Elite Trainer box, you can go to Walmart and pick it up. But there will also be this nice, shiny little one, which will be the one from the Pokemon Center. And if we zoom all the way in here, you can sort of see right there, I can put my cursor on it, the V-Star badge pin counter, whatever you want to call it. It's basically going to be the same thing as the GX counter. You're going to have to put it on the field, and when you play your GX attack or your V-Star attack, because they're pretty much the same thing actually, we'll get to that in a minute, but you're just going to flip it over just like your GX counter. And also another really cool thing that I just noticed now, if you look at the energies, they're actually doing a brand new art of energies, the background and stuff, which is very cool. You really don't see that often. So, moving on to our actual cards we have confirmed. We unfortunately only have 9 cards confirmed, but that is 9 more than yesterday, so that is a step in the right direction. So, first off, we have Arceus V and V-Star. This is the first pair of V-Stars here, and they are very, very good. Arceus V is a 220 HP basic colorless type Pokemon. Its first attack for 2 colorless energies, Trinity Charge. Search your deck for 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon V in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. This is really giving me like ADP vibes. I'm really seeing ADP in the Arceus cards here. Obviously, they're both Arceus cards, but still. I mean, you have Trinity Charge that's getting you your 3 basic energy cards. You can put them anywhere you like. Granted, they do have to be Pokemon V, but that is avoidable. You can just put them on Pokemon V. You don't have to put on anything else. And then its second attack really is not that great. It is very lackluster, but we have the V-Star to make up for it. All it is 3 colorless energies, Power Edge for 130 damage. I could probably play some basic Pokemon, like a Magikarp would do more damage than that. That's how awful that is. But, you know, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but is it really? I mean, 130 damage is terrible for a V card, especially one that does evolve, which this will be the first V-Star you will ever see. So, Arceus V-Star, this was actually revealed a couple days ago, which is surprising because Pokemon only released 1 card, but they didn't release the regular V card. It's a very, very, very strange way that they decided to release it. Anyways, we got Arceus V-Star, 280 HP. It's a bit less from your V-Maxes, which there will be V-Maxes in this set. There was a bit of speculation a while ago that they were going to get rid of V-Maxes and then just replace them with the V-Stars, but it looks from this, at least in this set, that it will not be the case because we will be having at least 3 V-Maxes in the set. So its first attack will be Trinity Nova, 200 damage. Search your deck for 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon V in any way you like, and then obviously shuffle your deck. Now this is ADP on steroids, excluding the GX attack. If ADP didn't have the GX attack and it only had the first attack, this is better. Granted, it is a stage 1 card, which could be a problem, but you can just use your Pokemon breeders. You have all kinds of different cards. If you're playing in Expanded, you have Evistoda. You have all these different types of cards that you can use to evolve it really, really quickly. So you can do 200 damage. Now, you have colorless energy. That's very good. That means you can use a welder in Expanded. You can also use a twin energy if you can get that ability off, which there is another card coming for that. I'll show you that in a minute, actually. So, you're doing 200 damage. That's enough to knock out, I'd say about half of the V cards, most GXs. You're not going to get anything like a V-Star or a V-Max with that, but that's okay. That does mean, though, with your 200 damage, you'll be able to hit 2 hits anything in the entire game. And that includes cards that have, like, abilities and stuff. Say, Phalanx, for example. For any number of Phalanx you have on your bench, takes 20 less damage. That would, even with all of those effects on there, that would still go through any Pokemon. And that includes tool cards, that includes everything. So that is already good in itself. But, on top of that, you get your 3 basic energy cards. ADP, this is one of the best things that it did. You got that GX attack off, and then you just add another energy, boom, you have 3 energies wherever you want. These can go on your V cards. You do not have to put all of them on one. That is a big, big deal. It may seem like something, oh, just brush it off. That is a big deal. That's the difference from putting 3 on an Arcanine to putting 1 on an Arcanine, 2 on a Dhelmise, and then throwing some other stuff anywhere else, even though you only have 3, but, I mean, you can live a little, I guess. I don't know. So you got 3 basic energy cards. Say this is your hypothetical solution, hypothetical situation, whatever you want to call it. Say you have Arceus V stars up there, 270 HP on it, already damaged off, and only has 10 HP left, unfortunately. I mean, you're kind of getting killed here. You only have to take 2 more prize cards, and your opponent only has to take 2. So your opponent can knock out your Arceus V star, they would win the game. But what you can do is you can get your 3 basic energy cards, you can attach them to your Pokemon V, then you can just retreat and knock them out with that Pokemon V. That's all because of that one attack right there. I mean, that's just one of countless situations where this attack can be coming in handy. And even if it doesn't depend on the game, you can still get those energies out there. It is a very phenomenal, it is a very tremendous attack. And it is just like ADP. That's what I'm going to call it now, the new ADP. Because it really is just the new ADP without the GX attack. But, I don't know, the V-Star ability might substitute for the GX attack, which is the new type of power, almost. It's called a V-Star power, so I'm getting reminded of the Pokemon powers, the Pokemon whatever. I mean, you had like 50 of those names. It's ridiculous. No one, like I know so many Pokemon experts, people that have spent years of their life, decades even, researching and doing Pokemon stuff. No one can ever remember all of the names of all the abilities and stuff. It's just insane how that got at the end of the E-Series base set little block he had at the beginning there. But I digress. So, V-Star ability, Starbirth. During your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand, then shuffle your deck. This is essentially a Steven's Resolve, if you remember that from Cosmic Eclipse or Celestial Storm. It was actually in both of them, fun fact. And that was an amazing card. It was a staple in tons of decks. People love to use it. I personally very enjoyed that card. But there was a bit of a downfall. You had to end your turn after you get those 2 cards. And actually, it was even better than that. It was 3 cards. But 2 cards is still very good. The only thing with this one, you do not have to end your turn. You can get your 2 cards, and then you can just put them wherever you want. You can use them however you want. And it's still your turn. You can still use your attack. You can still retreat. You can still use an item card if you want to. You could, I don't know, you could put out a stadium card. You could attach energy. You can do anything you want on a normal turn. Because this attack does not end your turn, which is quite frankly insane to even think about. They had, a year ago, we would have never thought that they would add something this powerful on 1 card, on top of an extra ability. This really is, like I said, a new ADP. You got your amazing attack, which is the same thing as ADP, and then you have your Starbirth ability. Granted, you can only use it once per your turn, but same thing with the GX's attack, which is going to be strange to see, because in Expanded, you're going to have your GX counter, and you're going to have your Star Power counter, and then probably in a year, you're going to have like 5 other counters. The way this is going, it's going to get very crowded very fast. But next up, we have Charizard V card. This is like the most hyped up card ever. We got more Charizard V Maxes. We got more Charizard V cards. We got everything Charizard. And I already told you with the pack cards, this thing is going to be a money card. If you're pulling this out of a pre-release, sell it immediately. Don't even bother getting it graded, because the time it gets graded, even if you're grading it PSA or BGS, it's going to take a year and a half to get back to you, and you're just going to lose your money anyways. So if you pull something like this out of your pre-release or any packs that you get, just sell it immediately. Off the bat, when this set first comes out, this is going to be worth hundreds of dollars, and the V-Star is going to be worth even more. Think about Hidden Fates, your Shining Charizard. This is going to be exactly like that. Obviously not as much, but you're still going to make a hefty profit if you're going to be able to pull one of these. So Charizard V card is a fire-type Pokemon, 220 HP, incinerates for 90 damage, is its first attack, and then its effect, little effect it has there. Before you damage, discard all Pokemon tool cards from your opponent's active Pokemon. Really not the best thing you're going to be wanting to do for 90 damage on a 3 energy attacker Pokemon. 2 prize cards, you get knocked out, you're only doing 90 damage to sophisticate that. It's not really looking good there for that first attack. Second attack is better for 3 fire energies and 1 colorless energy. Heat Blast for 180 damage. It is better. It's not amazing, but the V-Star, like Arceus, will make up for it. So, Charizard V-Star. It is a Fire-type Pokemon. Obviously, it's a Charizard. What else would you expect? Unless it's Flash Fire, but we don't really like to talk about that. So, it is 280 HP, just like the Arceus. That is going to be something you're going to see with most of the V-Stars. They're going to have around 270, 280, 290, somewhere in that little area there. Some of them, the one has 300, but that, I believe, is only one that's going to have 300. So, its first attack. 3 energies, explosive, fire, 130 plus. This Pokemon has any damage counters on it. This attack does 100 more damage. Think your little Reshiram and Charizard. You got Outrage on there. You do 30 damage plus 1 damage for every damage counter on him. So if you have 130 damage on there, you add in your 30, you're doing 160 damage. This one, if you have no damage on there, you're doing 130, which is already pretty good. But you're also doing 100 more damage regardless of any damage counters you have them on there anyways. So if you have any damage counters on there, so say you just have 10 damage on there, you're going to be doing 230 damage on there. But at the same time, if you have 270 damage on you, then you're only going to be doing 230. You're not going to get that extra for having the extra damage counters on there, which sucks, because if you did, then you'd be doing 400 damage, and that is quite literally insane. In the literal word, it is insane. No card has actually ever come close to that. The highest card without effects has been how much was it? 350. 350 is the highest card without the effects, and that would literally be a new record for the entire Pokemon TCG, which, I mean, who knows? That is pretty much happening every day now with either sales or prices, or, to be honest, the amount of cards in this set. I feel like every single set now has a new record for the amount of cards in it. It's kind of getting ridiculous at this point. So it's V-Star power here, which, just like the Arceus, you'll see a lot of similarities between the two. Star Blaze, 3 fire energies, 1 colorless energy, 320 damage. Discard 2 energy cards attached to this Pokemon. Now, this is going to be something that you're going to use sparingly, obviously, because you can only use it once. But you're going to have to discard 2 of your energies attached to it. That's going to be a pretty hefty fine. You could get another energy on there and use your first attack again the next turn. But if you're using your V power, then you're probably not going to be alive the next turn. It's really just going to be a last resort here. 320 damage is enough to knock out all of the V-Stars, all GXs, even the tag teams, all V cards, regular ones, but not V Maxes. There's only 4. There's 4. Yeah, there's 4, plus actually 5 in this next set. But that really doesn't count. I'm not going to count that because it isn't going to be released for another half a year. So there's 4 cards that it would transform and it would hit for the V Maxes. Other than that, all the V Maxes are going to be immune to here unless you have a damage multiplier on the card to begin with, which if you do, then you're really, again, not going to be using this attack to begin with. You'd rather use a different V-Star attack. Overall, the Charizard line is a bit underrated for, I mean, it's a Charizard. Everyone's just going to want it for the collectability. But people usually don't use Charizards. Charizard isn't a relatively playable card in the past. But this, I think, will see some play in just some Outburst decks, just some regular, just your rogue decks. You might see a few in some cups and stuff, but I wouldn't get overly hyped for it, like any Charizard card, really. So our next card is just a regular basic Pokemon, Moltres, another Fire-type Pokemon, 120 HP. Its first and only attack is Inferno Wings, 20 damage plus for 1 Fire Energy card. If this Pokemon has any damage counters on it, it does 70 more damage. It isn't affected by weakness. Now, this is lackluster. That's the best word that I can use. There are so many other amazing Fire-type Pokemon that can do so much more damage for about the same amount of energy, maybe 2 energies with a few of them, but usually it'll just be for that 1 energy. So that is kind of disappointing that they would make that. I mean, there's really not going to be any use for it. Now that Welder is gone, there might be a little bit of use in some rogue decks, but other than that, it's not the best card. You're really just going to want to play some other fire Pokemon over it. So our next card, we have a trainer card, supporter card, Sharon's Care. Put 1 of your colorless Pokemon that has any damage counters on it all into your hand. Every card, every energy, tool cards, everything except the damage. So if you have, for example, let's go back to our Arceus V Star. If you have this card and you say you have 100 damage on there and you're about to get knocked out next turn, you can use your Sharon's Care, and you don't have to use a coin flip. You don't have to do any of your stuff. You can just pull it back up into your hand and then play it right back down again. It's that simple. It's almost like the evolution spray that we had back a couple years ago, except you're going to be taking the entire line into your hand. You're going to be taking everything, and that includes, like I said, supporter cards, trainer cards, all kinds of tool cards, your energy cards, anything that you're going to be putting on that Pokemon, that's going to be back into your hand. So next up, we have a special energy card, and this unfortunately will be the only special energy card in this deck. So, as long as this card is attached to Pokemon, it provides 2 colorless energies. The attacks of the Pokemon card this is attached to do 20 less damage to your opponent's Pokemon. Now, before you get all excited and say this is a new double colorless energy, this is going to be the most powerful card in Pokemon history, yada yada yada, you have to read the effect. You're doing 20 less damage. That means, again, we'll pick on Arceus V Star here. If you're using Trinity Nova, you can use your colorless, double colorless energy 2.0. There's all these different remakes of the cards in this set. I'm kind of loving it. If you use your new energy card here, and you can get your 2 energies on there, and then you just use 1 more. That's 2 turns you have to attach, and then you're good for the attack. The only issue with that is you're only going to be doing 180 damage. At that point, that takes away the entire purpose and the entire reason why everyone's so excited about the amount of attack and damage that attack does, because it's going to be able to 3-hit a bunch of the VMAXs. If they just put a big charm or something on there, they're not going to get enough damage on there. So that is really something that you're going to have to look for. In most of these, it's going to be very, very hard to find a situation where you're going to want to sacrifice your damage for an extra turn. Obviously, you're still probably going to want to play 1 or 2 of them in your deck just in case, but that is just up to personal preference. Overall, it is a double colorless energy in Spirits, but it really isn't what it used to be. If you're playing Expanded, there's literally no reason why you would play this, but if you're playing Standard and stuff, I guess you could play a few copies just because why not, but it really is nothing to get too excited about. So our next card is Kindler, and it is another supporter card, and it says you can use this Pokemon card only if you discard a fire energy card from your hand. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck and put up to 2 of them in your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Now, there is already a pairing that everyone is talking about here with Fire Crystal. You may have remembered that a couple months ago from my Charizard video. It basically is an item card. You get to use it, and you take 3 fire energy cards from your discard pile, and you put them into your hand. That's all it does. It's pretty simple. Now, you can use Kindler. You can discard your fire energies, and then you can look, and you can get 2 cards. Now, it is sort of like the Steven's Resolve I was talking about earlier. It's sort of like the Arceus's V-Star ability, but the only downside to it is you're only limited to the top 7 cards of your deck. You're not going to be able to go through all of your cards, which does suck. But, I mean, there really is nothing you can do about it. It is a supporter card, and it is not ending your turn, which is, I mean, that does make it better. It's gonna be played in especially a lot of fire decks. I'm already thinking of adding it into a couple of mine. But, I mean, if you're playing Expanded, there's no way to play it. But if you're playing Standard, it is a very good option for your fire decks, especially since Welder has rotated out since the rotation in September. So our last card, unfortunately, our 9th card that has been revealed, is a Stadium card, which is pretty cool. It's another fire Pokemon card. It's like a fire aiding card. So it is called Magma Basin. And by the way, this is a gorgeous artwork here. It is like a volcano, the inside of a volcano. You have your lava runner running through it. It really reminds me of Scorched Earth back in Primal Clash, all the way back in 2012, I believe it was. All the way back there in the X and Y era, believe it or not. So that's really what the vibes are giving me here. It is a very cool artwork. I definitely like the artwork, and, you know, it's a cool artwork, which means it's going to be a cool card, right? I guess we'll take a look. So, once during each player's turn, that player may attach a fire energy card from their discard pile to one of their bench Pokemon. If they attach that fire energy card to this Pokemon in this way, put 2 damage counters on the Pokemon. So, another pairing you can use here is Kindler and Magma Basin. use Kindler, you discard your Fire Energy card, and you can take your Fire Energy card from your discard pile with the Stadium card, attach it to your Fire Pokemon. But the only downside is you do get your 2 damage counters on there, which could be an issue, but this is what you're doing. This is what the trade-off will be in the end. You're looking at the top 7 cards, and you're getting 2 of any of those cards. It's a Jirachi, but with 2 cards and with 7 cards to pick from, which is really, really good. And you're only taking 20 damage to one of your Fire-type Pokemon. That really isn't a bad trade-off, and I think this is going to be the combo. And even if you do put some of your other Fire cards in there, like the one that I was talking about that gets your cards back from the discard pile, but this is really going to be the main strategy that you're going to use with Kindler and Magma Basin, and I can definitely see a lot of potential with it in the future. So, unfortunately, we only have 9 cards to look at, which really does suck. So, the pre-releases. The Pokemon Company has already delayed it, and that is very unfortunate because I was actually anticipating a pre-release this week, but that didn't happen because Pokemon decided to cancel it on me. Everyone loves when that happens. So the pre-releases are going to be sort of just like the regular sets. It's going to be from the 12th to the 23rd. It's not really anything spectacular. It's just going to be your normal 2-week period, unless Pokemon decides to delay it again, which you never know at this point. I mean, there really is no delays for the pre-releases as of right now. If the shipping crisis is taken care of, that is happening especially in the United States right now, but really all over the world at this point, then Pokemon should be able to get out your pre-release kits in time. But that didn't really happen this time, and everyone was anticipating it. Everyone was saying, oh, I'm going to get my pre-releases early because everything's already being shipped. But even though they ship things early, if they can't get through the border and they can't get your shipping items into the country, then you're not getting your pre-release. There's nothing that they can do. So, in conclusion here, V-Stars is the new set. We're doing all kinds of very, very good stuff. By the way, PokeBeach is your little website that we're using here. We use them all the time on the channel. You already know that. There is a link in the description, like usual. They are a very great website. They've been supporting the Pokemon Company and the Pokemon community with all the information for over 19 years, just coming up on 20 years in a couple months, we're very happy for them. We love them a lot. Everyone uses them. I mean, they're a staple in the Pokemon community. Everyone knows PokeBeach. You're saying, PokeBeach, we know who that is, just like the Snivy Pad, right? Because you tell all your friends about the Snivy Pad, which, I mean, that reminds me, you should also subscribe to the Snivy Pad and like the video. Comment below if you have any questions, any concerns, or just want to spark a conversation. You just want to say something about the video, say hi, hey Snivy Pad, how's it going? I'll try and respond to as many comments as I can. And that's about it. So I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned, like always, and have a great rest of your day.